What's going on? Welcome back to Normal Baseball. The 2022 World Series Champion Astros got a little bit better. Bryce Harper had Tommy John surgery, and this will be Miguel Cabrera's final season. Let's talk about it. What's going on? Welcome back to yet another episode of Normal Baseball. I'm Alex Normal Dog. That's Lewis. And we got baseball today, as usual. As you can tell, usually by the name of the account. You know,
it says it right up here.
And we're gonna talk about some baseball today. So obviously lots happened since last week. I mean, I would argue maybe not as much quantity has happened, but a lot of quality going on here, which is quality over quantity. You know,
I like a healthy balance, but that's just the me thing.
Well, yeah, but if there's really good quality, you know, like
have we gotten to the good quality yet?
Like I'm very
You're very
excited to talk about the stuff we're going to talk about.
Excited. Okay, yeah. Okay. So then, if you're so excited, where do you want to start first?
Well, if we're going in chronological order, which we usually go chronological order.
Yeah,
we're very chronological people. Bryce Harper had Tommy John surgery last week.
Mm-hmm.
He obviously needed it. He's needed it probably since last season at some point.
Yeah.
Which is why he was mostly a DH. He was a DH last year. He barely played in the field. Timeable return early. They're saying looking like late May, if things go good. But I mean, what a hit for the Phillies, especially coming off going to the World Series, starting off the season without your best player. Kind of tough.
Yeah, it's certainly a big hit for the Phillies organization. But I do think that if they're not going to have Harper for the first half of the season, which they kind of played without him for half the season last season, I think, though, there will be some more urgency due to just what this team just did. And they're probably going to go out and get a big free agent, as we could probably both guess. I mean, with all the free agents that are out there, whether it be pitching, shortstop, which is a need that they want, or could we see them going and getting an outfielder that will platoon with Bryce Harper whenever he comes back, just that way they give him rest? I don't know, but I do hope that Bryce Harper's Tommy John surgery went well and that we see him back sooner rather than later.
I agree. I think it goes well. Like you said, the Phillies were missing Harper for a lot of this year too. They were 51-48 in games that he played. So take with that what you will. Obviously, their record wasn't great anyway, but I do think he's a key part of that team. And as we've seen from the postseason, he's literally the heart and soul of that team.
Yeah.
Like you said, who are the Phillies going to go out and get now? Well, it depends because when you look at it, I mean, Harper's going to be back hopefully by late May, so I don't think they're going to go out and get a big free agent. Why are you giving me that head nod?
I'm going to guess that it's going to be late June. That's my guess.
Even if it is late June,
I think that they're going to wait the extra month and do it right and make sure that he's like actually 110%. Because I mean, you're paying a guy $330 million to play. You don't want to risk it.
But that's not my point. My point is that they're not going to get a big free agent for half a season of play.
Or do you just mean in general, or are you just saying outfield?
For the outfield to take Harper's place on that team.
Oh no! I don't think it would be a big ticket at all. But I think it would be someone more than Brandon Marsh. Is that a fair statement to make?
Yeah, I mean,
whether it be trade or free agency, and then whatever, depending on how that player is doing in the field or at bat, then you have a perfect rotation at DH. with Harper if he needs the break from playing the field, if he wants to DH a game. I think it would work nicely for the Phillies if they did get an outfielder, if they do miss on any other shortstops, that is.
Yeah, I mean, you're right. You're right. I still don't think it's a great idea to get a big outfielder. I could see them getting someone to DH, but
I said someone more than Brandon Marsh.
Yeah, but I mean, Brandon Marsh can be good.
Yeah,
but what? It depends on what they're looking for, what they're looking to do. Because if they want to get a guy like Trey Turner or even Xander Bogaerts, they're probably not going to have too much room for a decently good outfielder when they're going to be paying for a big free agent shortstop, and they're going to be paying for Harper.
Mm-hmm. There's one name that comes to mind when I think of Phillies outfielder. You interested?
Brett Gardner.
No, even better. Even better. Uncle Larry. Andrew McCutchen. Back with the Phillies, just to hang around platoon until Harper gets back.
You really don't think they'd rather have Brandon Marsh than Andrew McCutchen?
Well, no, they have Brandon Marsh, too.
That's
Brandon Marsh will play center. And then you rotate with Castellanos, because Harper can't play at all. Who's DHing?
Right, but at that point, you don't need an outfielder.
I was just saying. That's me thinking off my dome.
Because you just run back what you did last year with,
kind of winging it. I mean, they did get a little lucky.
Harper was literally their only DH. He was just DH every game.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying, is that if you want him to come back healthy and be Bryce Harper, the guy who you're paying all this money to play in the outfield and hit bombs, they're going to want to throw him back in right field. When he feels healthy, he's going to go back in right field.
I'm agreeing. I'm saying I don't think they need another outfielder.
Right, but then who turns into their DH?
It could be any player. It doesn't have to be an outfielder.
I'm just saying that's a possibility.
Because then when he comes back, they have yet another outfielder.
Yeah, I guess. Either way, I think it's good that Bryce Harper is getting the surgery, because underrated guy with the glove. Shockingly enough, I think he's better. Yeah. He's better than people give him credit for when it comes to his play in the field. He's obviously not as good as Brett Gardner in the field, like we had just previously mentioned, or Mookie Betts, or Aaron Judge. But he's there. He's up there with the upper echelon, but he's not the main star.
I mean, in the Phillies outfield, he is.
Yeah, which is crazy to think about.
Yeah, the Phillies. I don't know how they made it to the World. Well, I know how, obviously, doy, but you know what I mean. The fact they made it to the World Series is just incredible. When you really look at that team, then you realize they got no hit in the World Series, and it's well, I mean, makes sense.
Yeah, I agree with you.
I would say, whatever. I think there is room for now the Phillies to make a decision on what they want to do. But yeah, like we said, I am glad that Harper's getting the surgery. It sucks that he didn't just do it right after the season ended.
Yeah, waited a couple of weeks.
He would have been back 3 weeks earlier.
Yeah, but I think he got evaluated because the Phillies kind of wanted to avoid having to give Bryce Harper Tommy John.
Well, because at first they didn't know if he would need Tommy John or a lesser surgery, but I guess it turned out that he needed Tommy John.
Yeah, and I mean, now's the time to get it out of the way when you know that your team can play without you.
Yep. All right. Well, next up, what do you want? What do you want to go for?
All right, let's hit who's signed so far.
Signings. We want to do signings. Okay, so we'll talk about the kind of lowest one first. The Pittsburgh Pirates, spent the most money in free agency on a single contract since 2016, I believe. Nope. They signed Carlos Santana to a 1-year, $6.7 million deal to be their first baseman. He is such a Pirate.
He's a Pirate for half a season, and then he gets traded somewhere? Yeah.
He's got the Vogelback, Josh Bell kind of vibe.
Vibe. Yeah.
Yeah, G-Man Choi type beat.
Yeah, him
Uh,
and G-Man Choi are on the Pirates.
exactly.
Nice little
Exactly.
platoon.
It just makes sense.
Yeah.
There's not really much to talk about. The Pirates are still terrible.
The Pirates are just doing things early, so like it looks like they're doing something, but it's like, come on, man. Like we all know who the Pittsburgh Pirates are in the NL Central. You're not doing anything of value right now.
They I mean, yeah, no. No.
Yeah,
I was
yeah.
gonna be
Don't
like,
try to
well,
spin it.
I was gonna be like, well, they have O'Neal Cruz, Brian Reynolds, but yeah, no. No, I don't care.
O'Neal
I really,
Cruz, future Cincinnati Red. Yeah, yeah, yeah. Heard the name.
whatever floats your boat. Honestly. Whatever floats your boat. Um yeah, Carlos Santana, I think we can move past that. But good job, Carlos.
Yeah, get a bag. Why don't you?
Yeah, I guess that was the most he was offered, which this next one, if this guy was offered this much amount of money, then honestly very surprised. Um, Mike Clevinger headed over to the Chicago White Sox. Um, interesting.
Very.
The White Sox, I guess, wanted another starter. 1 year, 8 million, which I feel like is low for Mike Clevinger, but I guess in the past few years he hasn't really proved much. He's
Yeah.
been injured a lot, and he when he does pitch, he can be either good or bad.
So I
Um,
believe that he's coming off Tommy John surgery, which was done 2 seasons ago. He made his
yeah,
way back like late in the season last season, but I mean, I understand why the Padres let him walk, especially with his playoff performances.
yeah.
I'm pretty
If you're the
sure.
Padres not interested in re-signing him.
Yeah, I think the Padres are more
He
looking to
he
add a
came back.
top of the end.
He came back fairly early in the season. He had 22 starts, 23 games, but a 4.33 ERA coming off Tommy John, not great.
And Velo was very down
Yeah,
for
just
Mike Clevinger.
everything was worse compared to his first what's five years in the bigs. So
Yeah, but I mean, good for Mike Clevinger taking a prove it contract. I liked it. I liked it for him because he has the
honestly,
ability to do better.
yeah, I hope he does prove it. For the White Sox, this doesn't really mean much. If I'm being honest, um, I think a lot of the White Sox problems have to do with coaching. So if I'm being honest, I think they have a very good team as long as they have good coaching. Although one of their star players did walk,
Being
but well, I was gonna say we'll talk about that in a second because I just want to really quickly uh, point at the Padres rotation now without without Clevenger. So Padres rotation without Clevenger would be um it is currently Yu Darvish, Blake Snell, Joe Musgrove, Nick Martinez, and Adrian Morejon. So they need to improve that too because they did lose a starter.
yep, yeah, they did. But the good thing about them being on the West Coast is that there seems to be plenty of pitchers coming over from overseas who want to try to stay on the West Coast. So it's
Yeah,
interesting.
and then for the as far as the White Sox go, their rotation actually looks pretty good right now. Cease, Lance Lynn, Giolito, Clevenger, and Kopech. That is a very good rotation.
Yeah, especially headlined by Dylan Cease. I mean, Cy Young finalist. You don't just kind of look into that. He's an
I mean,
absolute beast on the mound.
Cease, Lynn, and Kopech alone is very good. Giolito could be better. He could be good or bad. Giolito is very hit or miss. It seems like at least, and so is Clevenger sometimes. So I still
Yeah,
think it's a very good rotation.
I think it's a great rotation to go 81 and 81. And look
You
really
really think?
look like they're in the playoff hunt for the first month and a half of the season. It'll look good. Congratulations, White Sox. You guys got a prove it guy who My guess is that next offseason, we're talking about how Mike Clevinger gets 5 for 60 on a half contending team, like the Guardians. Like I could see him going back there.
Honestly, that'd be a pretty good fit if he
Yeah,
went back. I mean, it depends on how he does this year, but
yeah.
that's a conversation for a whole year from now.
Yeah. 1 year from now, I'm gonna say the same thing. Book it,
Really,
book it. 5 for
I'll,
60.
I'll book it. I'll book it. Okay. Now for the White Sox, looking at their lineup, it's still a very good lineup. But their first baseman is now Andrew Vaughn because Jose Abreu, lifelong Chicago White Sox,
Homegrown
staple in the
talent.
organization, first baseman, has signed with the Houston Astros.
You forgot
The
former
2020
MVP.
2020 Mickey Mouse MVP. Signed with the Houston Astros, the 2022 World Champions. 3 years, $60 million. What a signing! The Astros, they needed one position that they need to get better in because they had Yuli Gurriel playing first base for them last season, and then they went out and got probably the best first baseman free agent out there this season.
Yeah, without a GM too. Let that one be known. Jim Crane is just throwing his own money around, which is pretty fun to watch.
Good for him.
Yeah, good for him. Jose Abreu, 3 for 60, good deal for the Astros. Abreu, I think at this point in his career, very focused on winning rather than becoming a stapled guy, and I think that's why he decided to not go back to the White Sox. There were a few other teams that were talking to him and trying to figure out a contract, but I think at the end of the day, no matter what was said, if the Astros came knocking with a check, he was gonna pick up the phone. He was gonna answer that call.
Oh, 100%. And it's just I don't think anyone realizes how scary this signing is. I mean, like you said, he wants to win, and joining the team that just won the World Series when they're practically the same team as last year. Obviously, besides Verlander, but he's still a free agent. He still could very well come back. And even without Verlander, they're still a very, very, very good team.
Even without Verlander, they're still probably the favorites.
Oh, 100%. They just added a guy. They added a guy who people have said that Jose Abreu's gotten worse since his MVP season. It is quite the opposite. This last season, he played 157 games, full season, did not get injured. Batted .304 with 75 RBIs, 15 homers, and 40 doubles. 40 doubles. The only thing in Jose Abreu's game in the past couple of years, not even the past couple of years, just last year, that got worse was his power. But he still had 40 doubles and 15 homers.
But now he's going to be in a lineup sandwich between probably Kyle Tucker, Jordan, Jose Altuve, Jeremy Pena. I mean, and they still can go out, and there's another position that they want to address that they basically addressed at the trade deadline this year and wound up not pulling the trigger on it. Catcher, that they could go out and have Wilson Contreras too. It's bizarre how good this Astros team is right now and how good they could be when they're doing the lineup calls on opening day.
Oh yeah, if they get Wilson Contreras, fear is all I have to say. Because even right now they have Maldonado and
Silver Slugger finalist.
They do need another catcher because their backup catcher is Corey Lee, who has barely played in the majors. Although he was a first-round pick, so maybe they won't. Maybe they'll just let him play backup for a season. Mm-hmm. But Maldonado is very good defensively, so he's still a very good catcher.
I think it's gonna. So with Jim Crane,
he's not very good defensively, but he's a good veteran player. So
yeah. Well, with Jim Crane, he's much more of a player's owner rather than a business owner when it comes to his team. And I mean, we've seen that. That's the reason why they have been able to go back to back to back to back. Constantly going to the ALCS. Or the World Series. I mean, they've made it there plenty of times. And Jim Crane wants to make sure that his guys are comfortable with who they're throwing to. And I think at the end of the day, if that pitching coach comes into his office and says, listen, our guys want to throw to Maldonado another year, we don't want to have to go through it, then I could see them not going out and getting a guy like Wilson Contreras. I could see them sticking with what they have. And what's crazy, you stick with the in-house option, and they're still just as scary.
Oh yeah, no, this I'm looking at their lineup right now, and it is terrifying. It is terrifying. We asked on Instagram, we asked with this signing, do the Astros? Do you think the Astros are going to repeat as World Series champions? And out of like 130 votes, 140 votes, somewhere around there, 58% of people said yes.
Yeah, I will admit I was one of them.
I was one of them too. It's a scary situation. I don't think we've seen a team this good in a while, like including last year's Dodgers team.
Hey, but since the year 2000, no team has run back to back.
That's true. That's true. The curse of no back to back. But I do think if anyone's going to do it, it's going to be this team.
It's going to be this absolute wagon of a team. Yeah, I could see it.
And even if they don't get Verlander back, their rotation is still Framber, Javier, McCullers, Luis Garcia, and Jose Urquidy.
Which is still that's two side. Those are two at the top of the rotation. With who did you just say? Javier and who?
Framber and Javier.
Yeah, those are two guys who very easily could go win the not MVP, the Cy Young this season. Like, yeah, it's bizarre. The Astros are just a wagon right now.
Javier was part of 2 combined no-hitters this season.
Yeah, just
won the World Series.
I mean, he's found a way to dominate, along with the rest of the Astros pitching staff. How do they do it? The world may never know. But congratulations, Astros! Congratulations, you guys made a really good signing.
Astros. Oh yeah, and their bullpen barely got any worse too. So scary.
Their bullpen can improve.
Yeah. Well, their bullpen. Well, they didn't sign anyone new, so.
Yeah, but they can improve it. Is what I said.
They can improve it. I think you said it improved. No, yeah, they definitely can improve.
Where do you want to go to next?
What do I want to do next? So, now that we've talked about that, let's just talk about the other random kind of signing, Jeimer Candelario to the Nationals.
Mm-hmm.
All right. Now I know you wanted to talk about some Japanese players.
Yeah.
Coming over from the NBP. Or, right? Isn't the MVP?
Yeah, NBP or KP.
No, not KBO.
No, NBP.
Yeah, or KBO.
Well, they're players from overseas, is what we're trying to get at. And these guys who are coming over, we'll talk about them here, are players that should not be overlooked at all. You should not be scoffing at these players and what they're doing in basically the second best professional baseball league in the world, who honestly they might have the same talent pool, if just at the level, if not right below it. So it's not like we're talking about these guys as if they haven't proven that they're good ball players yet. Let that just be known. But we're also going to butcher the hell out of their names.
Are we?
I mean,
are you going to butcher?
I know I'm going to, so I'm just going to speak for both of us.
You butcher the hell out of
my own
Jose
name. Yeah. All right. Yeah. So where do you want to start?
Let's start with. Okay. Let's start with. Well, we were talking about the pitchers, so let's talk about one pitcher, starting pitcher. Kodai Senga.
Mm-hmm.
I believe I said that right. I hope I said that right.
Sounds right.
He is a free agent. There's 3 big ones, but he is the big starting pitcher free agent.
Boris.
What do you have to say? I know you're ready for this talk. So what do you think about Kodai Senga?
Senga, I mean, he looks like a very dominant pitcher from the clips that have been circulating on the internet. But then again, you can really find a highlight reel of any player in any sport if you look up their name and highlights. So you can't really look into just the videos. But looking at his stats is just a whole nother world, which I just had pulled up and accidentally closed out of. So let me try to find those again. But he looks to be a guy that he kind of reminds me of Yu Darvish, like in the sense of he's talked about, people know who he is, and he's coming over here, like coming to play in the MLB, and even back in his home country, which I think of Japan, I think is where he's coming from. He's compared to Shohei Ohtani on the mound. Shohei Ohtani should have been a fucking Cy Young finalist. Like, this guy is not some guy to joke around with.
Very passionate there. I love it. I have his stats up right here. So first of all, he is about to be 30. Very, very close to being 30. January 30th. So a little longer. Okay. So in his career, he has how many starts does he have? Let's see. Games started. Or games in general. He's pitched in 275 games. And he has a 2.42 ERA. That's very good. That's just very good.
Very good. That's probably one of the best in the. That's very good.
He seems to be a reliever mostly nowadays. I mean, I'm seeing that the last time he started a game was in 2017.
That's weird.
So, I don't know what that's about. Maybe it's just not showing it on Baseball Reference. Maybe these are just the starts, but it's not saying game started, so I'm not really sure what that's about. Either way, no, it seems like he is a starter. I mean, 23. It says 23 games, and he has 148 innings, so he must be a starter.
Yeah.
So I don't know why it's not saying game started. That's my fault. But still, the ERA still stands, 2.42 ERA.
I think
just under 1,500 batters striking out.
Yeah, I think that this is going to be one of those guys that comes in, like, we're not going to see him picked up by the Dodgers, the Yankees, the Giants, but, like, a team that wants to compete, like, sort of compete, kind of like, I don't want to say that he's going to the Orioles, but no, kind of like what the Orioles are, though, like a team like that, or the Athletics, or the Nationals, like a team that
I'm glad you recognize my joke.
Was that like they're borderline there, and in the next 2 to 3 years, when this guy is like, I don't want to say expiring or anything like that, when he's at his peak of playing in the MLB, you're competing, like you're in that. I don't want to say in the playoff hunt, like you're in the playoffs for certain.
I do like the Orioles. I like what you're saying about how a team that's not like big name. Like I don't think he's going to the Dodgers. I agree with that. I don't think he's going to the Yankees. I don't think he's going to the Mets. I agree with that. Maybe the Giants. I could see the Giants. I could really see the Mariners.
The Mariners, I mean, with after last season, they're a contender for just about everybody under the sun, which is crazy to think about.
Yeah, I don't know. I like I like the idea of the Mariners because they're a team that's trying to compete. They might as well take a flyer on a very good player from Japan, and we know that the adjustment's always there. Like it's always going to take adjustments, but I mean, I'd take the flyer on him over Marco Gonzalez.
Would you take him over Andrew
Although
Heaney?
Marco Gonzalez has been good, you could have a 6-man rotation. Like that's not the worst thing in the world.
Yeah. Would you take him over Andrew Heaney?
No. Yeah, I would. Yeah. Heendog had a good year last year, but it's not very reliable.
That's fair. That's fair. All right, that's fun.
So that's Kodai Senga. Next up, we have. Let me just make sure I'm pronouncing this right. We have Masataka Yoshida.
Yes.
I really hope I said that right.
It sounded right.
I'm going to say it's right. So, he is an outfielder. Obviously, also from Japan. What do you have to say about him?
Uh, Lefty bat, sort of compared to Bryce Harper from scouts who have watched him, and that's just talking about the bat side of him, which is interesting. I know that the Mariners are in on trying to get Masataka, which is interesting because after the Teoscar trade, you kind of wonder like what are they gonna do when it comes to their outfield and stuff, and if their solution is to take the flyer on, well, I don't even want to say a flyer because at this point, with how these international guys get paid to just come into the league immediately, I mean Shohei was the last guy that like didn't get that big contract. Who was the guy last year for the Cubs outfielder?
Oh, Seiya Suzuki.
Yeah, Seiya Suzuki came over and got like $80 million.
Right, but he didn't pan out.
But he still got paid before playing the game.
That's what I'm saying. Yeah, that's true.
So it's interesting because I think that there's actually going to be like a bidding war within the market for Masataka, especially with no shift this year against lefty batters. This guy could be a pull hitter all the hell he wants. You know, knock it through the hole every time. Bat fucking 400 with 100 singles. You know, like who cares? Go get it done.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean he wouldn't do that because I get what you're saying, but he wouldn't. Like looking at his numbers, I mean, he's definitely a power bat.
Mm-hmm.
Like not necessarily full only power, but he can hit home runs. In last season, he hit 21 in 121 games. He's hit 29 in a season is his highest. He hits a lot of doubles. Gets on base. He batted .336 last year and the year before that. Batted .351. He gets on base is my bottom line.
Yeah, he gets on base.
It's almost comparable to Juan Soto
or Brandon Nimmo.
It's almost comparable to Juan Soto. Juan Soto, is. Good batting. I mean, not on the not Padres Juan Soto so far at least.
Give him a full season.
Nationals Juan Soto, high batting average, high on base percentage, high slugging, high OPS, can hit the home runs, can hit the doubles, but can also hit the singles and draw walks.
And apparently plays stellar defense.
I mean, yeah, I don't doubt it. I haven't seen him play defense, but I really don't doubt that at all.
Yeah.
His fielding percentage, games for the past 2021 it was 1,000, but he only played one game in the outfield. He plays a lot of DH, it seems like.
Mm-hmm. But I from the articles that I've read from like news sources and stuff, it says that he can be a very plus defender and has that capability, which is interesting because you look at teams that maybe have a smaller outfield if they don't want to risk it. You know, like you could be looking at the Mariners. Again, we'll talk about them. Throw them in left field. It's a small left field compared to like the Rangers, who have just a massive outfield. The Angels have a bigger outfield in comparison to the Mariners. The Astros are another team that, hey, go out, sign an international guy. You guys just won the championship, got better. Why not take a waiver on somebody?
Oh, no, I agree. I think this is another guy who, if you need an outfield spot, go for him.
Yeah.
Because you're going to get him, and he might be extremely good. And I think, like you said, it's a good spot for, again, like someone like the Mariners or even the Orioles or a team that's kind of like ish rebuilding, but still like was close to making the playoffs last year.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. I agree.
I think that would be, you know what, Cubs, get him. Pair him with Seiya Suzuki. I think that's a great idea.
Well said. Well said.
So we'll see what happens with that. Obviously, we got our free agent predictions coming soon. Although a lot of people have signed for no reason, and it makes me it's not very nice of them.
Agreed. They didn't wait till our episode came out.
That's what I'm saying. It's
they didn't know their worth. Okay,
it limits the options, but it's whatever.
Of course.
Next up, we have the last one that's on my radar. I don't know if this is the last one on your radar, but the last one on my radar. Shintaro Fujinami. I really hope I said that right. He's another pitcher from Japan, obviously. Incredible pitcher. And it
Three
depends.
seven. He has the higher.
It looks like it depends. It looks like he could be hit or miss sometimes in the Japan League.
Yeah,
Like 2021, he had a 4.83 ERA. 2022, he had a 3.10 ERA.
but he's also younger than the other starting pitcher. I forgot his name already. I feel really bad for forgetting his name. But
Yeah, but he's younger. He's younger by like a year and a half. He's not like it's not like significant.
yeah, I would call it closer to 2 years, but whatever. 3.17 ERA in 1,300
Well,
innings
you can
pitched.
call it. You can call it closer to 2 years. It's just simply not closer to 2 years.
Whatever. 3.17 ERA in 1,300 innings pitched with 1,300 strikeouts. Pretty good stat line. 9.4 Ks per nine, which like he looks like, and you can go and watch tape of him. Obviously, he has a lot of like swing and miss stuff, but it does worry me with how much better some MLB hitters are compared to some NBP hitters are. That you can make that adjustment quicker on Mr. Fuji here. Uh,
No, Fujinami.
Fujinami, thank you. But I think that MLB hitters can make adjustments quicker on him than some people did in the NBP league. So we'll just have to wait and see. But I think he's going to be a big like wild card guy. Like, oh, the Diamondbacks signed him, and now all of a sudden, oh my God, he's either the best pitcher on the Diamondbacks, or he's like getting slapped around by the Dodgers every other start.
Well, that's the thing with these prospects, not prospects, but these players who come from Japan after having a really good career in Japan is that it's pretty eminent that players in MLB are better than players in the NBP. It's just kind of
No
I don't want to say
fact.
fact, but like
It's a given.
yeah. So like you said, it depends on how they can adjust. Not only how they can adjust, but how he can adjust to the hitters here. Um, I like I was saying, he wasn't great in 2021, but last year is a year obviously that matters a lot because he's now a free agent. He had a 2.77 ERA, 25 starts. So, or 25 starts. I believe some of them might have been relief appearances too. Um, but I think the same thing with these guys is that like any team can go out and get them, except for maybe the bottom of the barrel teams. I can see any of these guys going to contenders as well. Like as
Well,
much
I
as I want
think
to say they go to middle of the road places, as much as I want to say they go to middle of the road places, I could very well see them going to contenders too.
I agree with you. I think that if any team wants to play it safe, they're gonna go get the first pitcher that we spoke about. What was his name again?
Second,
Kodai, yeah, Senga.
I,
I think that if teams want to be safer and guarantee themselves a more reliable pitcher, then you go and get Senga. But if you want to take the waiver and like you think that you have the opportunity to correct this guy's mistakes, or you think you can help him become successful, then you go get Fujinami.
yeah,
Yeah, baseball.
yeah. I like your thought process there.
As do I.
But we'll see what happens. I'm excited to see these guys play. It's the same kind of thing as Seiya Suzuki last year. I mean, it's exciting to see guys who like already have an established career, and now we're gonna come over here, and now we're gonna get a chance to see them, and it's gonna be a lot of fun.
Yeah, yeah, I agree with you. It's going to be fun to just see where they go. And, I mean, I would be willing to bet you that I'm going to spend a good amount of time on their Baseball Savant pages after their first couple starts when there are plenty of numbers to be looked at and analysis and understanding their pitching and stuff. It's going to be interesting. It's going to be interesting for sure.
I agree. Um, yeah, and then you want to get over on to our last topic that doesn't have anything to do with free agency.
Yeah,
It's
sure.
more of a arguably sad topic.
Certainly is.
Um,
Go ahead and open it up.
just yesterday, um, 20-year veteran. This year would be 21. Miguel Cabrera, Miggy, announced that 2023 season will be his last of his illustrious career in the bigs. So, first of all,
round of applause for such an amazing player.
Oh, amazing player, amazing career, fun to watch. He literally not much else you could do in a big league career than Miguel Cabrera did.
Yeah. And I mean,
So,
he achieved one of the biggest, one of the most untouchable goals in all of sports, winning that Triple Crown.
Triple Crown in 2013. I think the big thing with this is he a first ballot Hall of Famer? The answer for me is yes, no doubt. Triple Crown, batted like 350, well, not 350, but high 300s in a lot of seasons. Won a World Series, won MVPs. Like, definitely a first ballot Hall of Famer for me.
Yeah, I also agree with you that I think he should be a first ballot Hall of Famer. The big question, of course, then becomes: does he go in as a Marlin or does he go in as a Tiger? You don't really know until he decides.
I think Tiger.
I think Marlin.
Do you really? How many years did he spend with the Marlins?
Like 5 seasons. Yeah. Yeah, 5 seasons.
5? Did you fact check that?
1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Oh, that's 6. Oh, well, you got... Okay, 5.5. Call it 5.5.
He's going in as a Tiger.
Oh, whatever.
But I do think he's a first ballot Hall of Famer.
Miggy is certainly a first ballot Hall of Famer. I mean, as it stands right now, over 3,000 hits, over a 300 batting average, 1,800 RBIs. I mean, a career OPS of 908. That's insane.
It's always so impressive how these guys, like, you look at their careers and, like, he has a career OPS 908, or what was it? 908. But yet, like, the past few years, his OPS has been, if I had to get, significantly under 908.
Yeah, I mean,
I don't know if you're looking.
2020, 746, 2021, 701. And then this season was, I think, the worst of his career when it comes to full season at 622.
But then you look at it and it's like, but he still has a career 900 OPS. It's like same kind of Albert Pujols situation. Like, how is that even possible? It's like if he retired like 5 years ago, his numbers would have probably been like some of the best of all time. Like his career numbers.
Yeah. Miggy is... I mean, he was part of some of those legendary Tigers teams with like Scherzer and Verlander leading the helm on the pitch, on the mound. He was part of the perfect game that wasn't. I believe he was there for that.
Well, he caught. Yeah, he didn't catch. He
made the play for the final out. Whatever. I mean.
But even then, that has nothing to do with his legacy.
Yeah, but I'm just saying, like, he's been such a staple in the Detroit community for so long, and he's probably one of those players that is a real impact to the community when it comes to, like, growing the game of baseball and knowing how the right way is to carry yourself when it comes to being a ball player both on and off the field. And I think Miggy is just one of those icons that shows how important it is to be durable and to be able to play as long as he can, because I mean he has had an illustrious career.
I agree very well put. We asked you guys if Miggy is a first ballot Hall of Famer, and 93% said yes.
Yeah.
So,
which
kind of hard to say.
I would be shocked if he wasn't.
Me too.
He's more than deserving of it. I mean, there's a technical way that he can get to 700 home runs. For 3,000 hits. I mean, 507 home runs right now. 193
there's a
away.
Technical way that he can. What are you talking about? There's a technical way.
He can. He will definitely get more than 193 at bats this season.
So technically, it's still possible. Yes.
It's still doable. That's all that matters.
No, I think you just said the wrong number. But yeah,
He's at 507, which means that he needs 193.
700 home runs.
Yes!
You're insane.
I think there should be a rule in baseball that players who are like Miguel Cabrera last year, their deal, like over the age of 40, shoot them up with PEDs. Give them one last ride for the hell of it. Come on.
I think you should shut up.
I think I should go play for the Tigers. Me and Miggy kind of got the same like archetype. Why are we clapping?
Okay. Well, you go play for the Tigers, and I think that concludes this episode.
That just
unless
might.
Is there anything else?
There's a few rumors going around. If you want to cover them quickly, you want me to rattle them off?
Let's go very quick with the rumors.
Okay. Tampa Bay Rays have spoken extensively with Brandon Nimmo and have just started talks with Jacob deGrom. What the hell are the Rays doing? They're not doing their Rays thing. Little weird. Mets apparently have not offered a contract to Seth Lugo, and Seth Lugo's team reached out, and the Mets basically said that they don't want to bring him back. Weird. I think that Seth Lugo is going to look absolutely stellar next season in an Athletics jersey. Carlos Rodon is getting reached out to by the Dodgers, and the Giants are now back in on trying to bring him back, which makes me worry. And last but certainly not least, like the most I'm just trying to get through the important things. Well, two more things. One, the Padres and Xander Bogaerts have started talking contracts and money, which is interesting, which would mean that they would definitely want Tatis in the outfield, since they did DFA, what's his name? They DFA'd an outfielder.
Who they DFA?
I forgot his name. God damn it. But they DFA'd an outfielder, so they would put Tatis in the outfield and have Bogaerts play short. Kind of weird, but hey, Padres, go get all the names you want. Like, go beat the Dodgers first. And last but not least, the Dodgers have reached out to the Brewers about a backup plan. Sorry, my fingers cut. A backup plan if they're unable to sign any of the big-ticket free agent shortstops. They are more than likely going to trade for Willy Adames from the Brewers, which is an interesting one.
That is interesting. I like all the rumors. I like listening to rumors. I always take them with a grain of salt. Depends on who says them, when they say them, if it makes any sense. It's kind of stuff like that.
Yeah.
But rumors are fun.
Rumors are so much fun.
They're probably one of my favorite parts of the offseason. I'd say the signings are obviously my favorite part. But
yeah, the signings is always fun. Watching normal baseball, always fun. You know.
Oh, I agree with that too, yeah.
But yeah, those are the rumors that I've heard that I enjoy reading. It's interesting. It's weird to me.
Yeah, I mean, to each their own.
Yeah,
I think that ends this episode.
Certainly does.
Thank you everyone for watching. If you like, subscribe, share, comment, share again, subscribe again,
and
comment again, like it 3 times, and yeah. That does it. We will see you guys next time. It'll probably not be a news episode. It'll probably be a free agent draft, probably. And yeah, that'll do it. We will see you guys next time. Peace.